Hello everyone. Today's video is a tutorial for an easy to make basic version of the Pillager army column. This basic version of the Pillager army column should only take you around 10 minutes to complete at the most. It uses only 3 commands and uses no scoreboard commands, which is what I think gave a lot of people trouble in the past when they were following the previous tutorial that I made. It does, however, only spawn in pillagers. If you want an army column that spawns in more than one kind of mob, you have to create a more complicated mechanism. Luckily for you, after the basic tutorial, I'll show you the next couple of steps to bring this closer to the standard of the fully fledged pillager column, like the one in the downloadable version. From there, it should be easier for you to follow the previous tutorial that I made in order to bring the product to full completion. Now for the basic version, I decided to create it on an entirely new world. I suggest you do the same and follow this tutorial on a new world as well. The reason behind this is that the mechanism can create a lot of lag depending on what device you're using and what settings you're using, and there is a chance that if you mess up any of the summoning commands really badly, you might spawn in an infinite amount of pillagers in your world that will lag out your game. So if you're inexperienced with commands and don't know how to deal with those issues, I'd advise you to recreate this on a new world to avoid ruining any of your currently existing ones. For this tutorial you'll need some name tags, a locator map to see which direction you're facing, some armor stands, any kind of shovel, some levers, some command blocks, and some anvils. For my tutorial, I'll be creating a pillager column that marches north, but feel free to make one that marches in any direction. For this first part of the tutorial, I'm creating a path that is 9 blocks wide and 20 blocks long. You're free to add as much detail as you want to this, but that will take up extra time. Now at the start of the path, that is where you want the pillagers to spawn in, place down 3 rows of 5 armor stands on the middle 5 blocks of the path, leaving 2 blocks on each side. On the other side of the path, go ahead and place down 1 row of 5 armor stands, again in the center. These will be the armor stands that kill the pillagers once they reach the end. Once you're done placing your armor stands down like this, go ahead and place down your anvil. You're going to want to name 2 name tags. Name the first one Start and the second one End. These correspond to the 2 groups of armor stands you just placed down. Then, go ahead and give the armor stands their appropriate names. All the armor stands in the larger group you'd placed at the start of the path should have the name Start, and all the armor stands at the end of the path should have the name End. Pretty self-explanatory. Once you're done naming your armor stands, go ahead and place down 3 repeating command blocks. The first command that you'll be typing in is the one that teleports the pillagers forward, making it look like they're walking. Remember that I'm making my pillagers march northward. I can tell that I'm making them march northward because when I face the direction that they're walking, I am pointing up on a locator map. If you are making your pillagers march in a different direction, the command that you will be using will be slightly different than the one that I'm typing in right now. So, check which direction your pillagers will be marching by using a locator map. If you are facing the same direction as the pillagers will be marching, and on the locator map you are facing to the left, that means your pillagers will be marching west, and you should use the command that I've typed in at the bottom there. You should also notice that the command that you're typing in will execute at all entities named normal. This is because the pillagers that we're spawning in will be named normal. Once you're done typing in the first command, go ahead and move on to the second command block. The first thing you're going to want to do, before even typing in the command itself, is give the command block a tick delay of 50. Then go ahead and type in the following command. This command will spawn a pillager named normal on all of the armor stands named Start. It will do so every 50 ticks. Once you're done with the summoning command, you can move on to the final command, which will kill all pillagers within 0.1 blocks of all armor stands named End. To review, you should have a command like this command, which teleports the pillagers forward. You should have a command like this, which summons pillagers on armor stands named Start. And finally, you should have a command like this, that kills all pillagers named Normal within 0.1 blocks of armor stands named End. Once you've verified that you've written all the commands correctly, go ahead and pull the lever for the teleport commands first, and then pull the lever for the kill command second, and then finally pull the lever for the summoning command last. Once you do so, the pillagers should start spawning in, and you should see something like this. There will be a certain amount of lag that is to be expected, but you will have a fully functioning, if rather basic, pillager column. I'll go over a few ways to reduce lag in a second. For now, you can turn off the mechanism by flipping the levers in reverse order. So first, turn off the lever for the summoning command block, then turn off the lever for the kill command block, and finally turn off the lever for the teleport command block. If you do turn off the levers in the wrong order, you will have a bunch of random pillagers wandering around. So, before you actually test it like I did, I recommend that you create an emergency shutoff system. Such an emergency shutoff can consist of one simple repeating command block placed next to all the others that has this command in it. This command will kill all pillagers within a radius of 30 blocks, preventing new spawns and giving you time to turn off the mechanism correctly. You can also add a command block that kills vindicators within the same radius if you're going to go beyond the basic tutorial into the advanced steps. As you can see here, I accidentally turn off the teleport commands first, meaning that there's a bunch of pillagers now wandering around, but once I go and pull the emergency shutoff lever, all the pillagers die and I can turn off the mechanism correctly. Now, like I said, there are a few ways you can reduce the lag that this whole project creates. The first way is to go into world options and turn off mob loot to prevent the pillagers from dropping tons of extra arrows on the ground that will lag out your game. The second way, and arguably the best way, is to go into game rule and turn off command block output. This will prevent all the teleport commands from appearing on your screen, and as you can see, the whole thing just runs much more smoothly now. Well, that's it for the basic tutorial. But if you wanted some help with the original tutorial, or you wanted a more advanced version, I'll show you how to upgrade this and make it spawn vindicators and pillagers in an alternating fashion. The first step for the slightly more advanced version is to get an extra name tag and name it Captain 1, like I'm doing so here. Then find the armor stand directly in the center of the group of armor stands named Start, and give it the name Captain 1. Then you're going to have to create a scoreboard. Here I'm creating a scoreboard named March. As you can see, I'm typing in the command /scoreboard objectives add March dummy, where March is the name of the scoreboard. Next, I'm going to add a player to the scoreboard. A player is just a value on a scoreboard that can have a score. So here I'm typing in /scoreboard players add formation March 0. Basically, I'm adding a player named Formation to the scoreboard named March with a starting score of 0. The third command that I'm typing in here will make the scoreboard actually visible on the right side of the screen. So I'm typing in /scoreboard objectives set display sidebar March. March again being the name of the scoreboard. Once you're done creating a scoreboard and adding a player to it, you're going to want to place down 2 repeating command blocks. These 2 command blocks will be the start of 2 separate command block chains. In the first one, you're going to type in this command, /scoreboard players test formation March 1-1. Basically, this command tests if the player formation from the scoreboard March has a score between 1 and 1. In the second command block, type in exactly the same command, except switch the 1s for 2s. That way, the command block will test if the player formation has a score of 2 or not. You can go ahead and place levers on these command blocks, but make sure to not turn them on until you're finished writing the rest of the commands. Once you've got these 2 repeating command blocks set up, go ahead and go to the side of the command block that has a sort of diamond shape on it and place down 3 chain command blocks for each one. You'll know if you've done it correctly if you look at the 4 command blocks in each row and the little arrow symbol on the sides are all pointing in the same direction. Then, for the first row of chain command blocks behind the repeating command block that tests for the score of 1, you're going to want to type in the following commands. First, type in this command, which is almost identical to the summoning command used in the basic version, except the fact that it has no tick delay. For the second chain command block, type in this command. This command will spawn in a pillager named Captain_1 at every armor stand named Captain 1. For the last chain command block in the first chain, type in this command, scoreboard players set formation March 0. This will set the score of player formation from the scoreboard march back to 0. Basically, this prevents the summoning commands from going off twice. Before you move on to the second chain, make sure that all the chain command blocks in this row are set to conditional instead of unconditional. For the second chain of command blocks, starting out with the repeating command block that tests for a score of 2, go ahead and write the exact same commands, except every time you see the word pillager, swap it out for the word vindicator. That being said, this is what the commands should look like. Again, make sure to set them to conditional and do not turn them on until you've done so. And then once again for the fourth and final chain command block, go ahead and use this command to set the score of formation back to 0. Once you have finished the second chain of 4 command blocks and made sure they're all conditional with the exception of the 2 starting repeating command blocks, go ahead and place down another repeating command block and another chain command block in the same fashion as its own separate chain. Then you're going to type in the 2 following commands, once again making sure that you don't turn on the command blocks until you're done writing them correctly. The first command in the repeating command block is essentially the same as the kill command used in the basic version, except it kills all entities named captain_1 instead of entities named normal. For the second chain command block, which again should be set to conditional, you're going to be entering this command, /scoreboard players random formation march 1-2. Once you're done with that, go ahead and go back to the teleport command used in the basic tutorial that teleports all entities named normal, and go ahead and make a copy of that except targeting all entities named captain_1. At this point, you're almost done upgrading your basic version of the Pillager army column. However, before you move on and finish the project, you should run a couple commands to make sure that everything is working properly. Namely, you should change the score of formation to 1 or 2 to make sure that pillagers or vindicators will spawn. Here I am changing the score of formation to 1 using the command /scoreboard players set formation march 1. Once I do this, pillagers should spawn. As you can see, pillagers do spawn in. However, once they reach the end of the path, they should die and be replaced by either a new block of pillagers or a new block of vindicators. Once you've verified that pillagers and vindicators spawn in when you change the score, and that they get replaced once they reach the end, you're going to want to write the last 3 commands. These 3 commands will be for the start lever, like the one in the downloadable version. The first command block in this final command block chain will be a simple impulse command block with this command written inside. This command will spawn a pillager named captain_1 on the armor stand in the middle of the formation named captain1. The second command block in the chain will be a conditional chain command block with this command written inside. As you can see, it's very similar to the first command. However, at the end, instead of there being 3 tildes, there are 3 up arrows with a 6 next to the last one. The 3 up arrows signify the use of relative coordinates that detect which way the armor stand is facing. Since there is a 6 next to the up arrow for the Z coordinate, the pillager will spawn 6 blocks in front of where the armor stand is facing. Lastly, for the third and final command, the command will be essentially the same as the second one, except there is a 12 at the end instead of a 6. Once you're done writing the commands for this final command block chain, go ahead and place a lever on the starting impulse command block. Once you pull the start lever, this is what should happen. As you can see, 3 pillagers spawn with a few blocks in between them, and once they reach the end, they are replaced by full formations of pillagers or vindicators. If you are able to get to this point, that means you're done upgrading your basic version of the Pillager army column. To turn this upgraded version off, you're going to need to create and use the emergency shutoff switch that I talked about earlier in the video if you haven't made it already. And, well, that's pretty much it for this video. For those of you who do need extra help, I will be copying and pasting all of the commands that the command blocks use into the description of this video for you to use or refer to, but other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in whatever I post or stream next.